If you step outside on a clear winter night and look to the southeast, just below the iconic belt of Orion, you will find it. Sirius, the dog star. It is the undisputed king of our night sky, burning with a fierce, icy blue-white fire. For as long as humans have looked up at the cosmos, this star has been our celestial anchor. But beneath its mesmerizing brilliance lies a dark trail of astronomical anomalies that have left modern scientists, historians, and physicists deeply unsettled. It is a cosmic detective story featuring ancient Roman philosophers, an isolated tribe in West Africa with impossible knowledge, and a tiny, dead star that density-wise defies the imagination. According to the most prestigious astronomers of the ancient world, the star you are looking at right now shouldn't exist, because just 2,000 years ago they swore it was red, and that is only the beginning of the mystery. Our first mystery begins in the dusty archives of antiquity, roughly 2,000 years ago. If you were to ask any modern astrophysicist today to classify Sirius, they would tell you it is a main sequence star of spectral type A. Its surface temperature is a blistering 9,940 Kelvin. It is, by all the laws of stellar physics, a brilliant, unyielding white blue. It has been this way for at least 100 million years, and it will remain this way for millions more. Yet, if you travel back to the height of the Roman Empire, the historical records tell a completely different and deeply disturbing story. Claudius Ptolemy, the legendary Greek astronomer, mathematician, and geographer of Alexandria, spent decades mapping the heavens. In his monumental astronomical treatise, the Almagest, written in the 2nd century, he meticulously catalogued the brightness and colors of stars. In its pages, Ptolemy explicitly lists Sirius as hypokyrros, a Greek word translating directly to reddish, fiery red, or of a ruddy hue. To make sure this wasn't a mere translation error, Ptolemy grouped Sirius with 5 other stars he classified as red: Betelgeuse, Aldebaran, Antares, Arcturus, and Pollux. Today, all 5 of those stars are indeed red giants or orange giants, but Sirius is blue, and Ptolemy was far from alone in this observation. The famous Roman philosopher and advisor to Nero, Lucius Annaeus Seneca, wrote in his Naturalis Quaestiones that the redness of Sirius was actually deeper than that of Mars. Mars is the red planet. Cicero, the legendary Roman orator, described the star as glowing with a ruddy blazing light across the globe in the imperial courts of ancient China. Han Dynasty astrologers, under the direction of court historian Sima Qian, also recorded the colors of stars for state prognostications. Their manuals, such as the Tian Guan Shu, treatise on the celestial offices, consistently detailed Sirius as a starkly red beacon. If the color of Sirius changed, the ancient texts warned, it heralded disaster, floods, and military invasions. For a star to change its color from red to blue-white in a mere 2 millennia is not just highly unusual, it is astrophysically impossible. Under our current models of stellar nucleosynthesis, such a massive spectral shift requires hundreds of millions of years. So, what are we missing? When modern astrophysicists first confronted this red Sirius anomaly, they scrambled for conventional explanations. The first theory was simple: atmospheric refraction. When stars are very low on the horizon, the Earth's atmosphere scatters the blue wavelengths of light, making them twinkle in flashes of red and green. Perhaps these ancient observers only looked at Sirius as it rose. But this theory quickly falls apart. Ptolemy, Seneca, and Chinese imperial astronomers were master observers. They spent their entire lives cataloging stars at their highest points in the sky, the meridian transit, where atmospheric distortion is at its absolute minimum. They knew the difference between a star twinkling red at the horizon and a star's true intrinsic color. This forced some physicists to propose a much more radical intrinsic hypothesis. Could the anomaly have been caused by Sirius's companion star, a tiny, dead white dwarf known as Sirius B? Could Sirius B have been a red giant star just 2,000 years ago, shedding its outer envelope in a final dramatic death rattle that illuminated the entire system in red gas? Or did it undergo a transient runaway thermonuclear event, a supernova-like flare-up on its surface that temporarily mimicked the deep crimson color of a red giant? While elegant, this theory breaks our fundamental understanding of gravity and stellar remnants. If Sirius B had shed its outer layers so recently, we would see a massive glowing planetary nebula of gas surrounding the system today. But space around Sirius is completely clear. We are left with an uncomfortable choice. Either our ancient ancestors were suffering from a collective cross-cultural vision defect, or something occurred in the Sirius system that our modern physics cannot yet explain. But as it turns out, the color of the star is only the surface of the mystery. To find the real anomaly, we have to travel to a remote windswept plateau in Mali, West Africa. In the early 1930s, two highly respected French anthropologists, Marcel Griol and Germain Dieterlen, set out to study the Dogon people, an isolated ancient agricultural tribe living along the cliffs of Mali. For nearly 2 decades, the anthropologists lived among them, gaining their trust. Eventually, they were initiated into the tribe's most sacred, highly guarded secret cosmology. What the Dogon elders revealed to the French researchers shocked the academic world to its core. The Dogon claimed that their entire spiritual and social system was anchored to the star Sirius, which they called Sigu Tolo. But they insisted that Sirius was not a single star. They claimed it had a companion star, which they called Po Tolo. Po is the Dogon word for a tiny, heavy grain of fonio cereal, known scientifically as Digitaria exilis. They describe this companion star as being entirely invisible to the naked human eye. They said it was the smallest yet heaviest thing in the universe, composed of a mysterious super-dense metal they called sagala, which they claimed was far heavier than all the iron on Earth. Even more shocking, they drew the exact orbit of this invisible star. They stated it was an ellipse and that it took exactly 50 years to complete one full revolution around the main star Sirius. Let's pause and let the gravity of that statement sink in. Modern astronomy has confirmed that Sirius is indeed a binary star system. The companion star, which we call Sirius B, is a white dwarf. It is completely absolutely invisible to the naked human eye. It was only predicted mathematically in 1844 by Friedrich Bessel, and it wasn't seen through a telescope until 1862, when Alvan Clark spotted it while testing a new, state-of-the-art 18.5-inch refracting telescope lens. It was not successfully photographed until 1970. Yet an isolated West African tribe, without a single telescope, glass lens, or modern scientific instrument, had known about its existence, its incredible density, and its orbital mechanics for generations.